Charles Robinson is locking up the cage on the outside. By the way, did John Cena have one of the coolest opportunities for gear ever? I mean, think about everybody else and their brother having to spend all this money getting custom fitted stuff, and
Uh-huh.
he's like, "How about jorts and a t-shirt and some tennis shoes? You can
Yeah.
just run down to Walmart and I'm good to go."
You can wear it to the ring. You can wear it to wrestle in, and you can wear it to go to see the Florida Gators play.
Man, we're still talking about pubes in the live chat here.
Yeah, well,
This is like, what are pubes like a new thing on the show?
nah, that's Darren Staley's go-to.
We might need a pube
And
sponsor.
yeah, he needs a pube sponsor.
Taking loads, blowing schlong.
Dun, dun, dun. What is wrong? So, one of the things that makes a cage so unique is the cage is used as a weapon. And let's see how long it takes for them to throw somebody's head into it. And let's see how much juice is involved.
None.
None?
None.
Well, then that's probably because the New York Athletic Commission wouldn't let them do it.
I think it's because Vince says we don't need blood. Remember now, this is a house show.
Okay.
I know it was on the WWE network, but I'm just saying, I don't remember seeing this match. I don't think I ever have, but I'd be willing to bet there's no blood.
And then my question is, why the cage? I think fans see a cage when they're expecting blood. Am I wrong?
You are.
Yeah. I am wrong.
They used to believe that, but I think there's a whole generation of wrestling fans who grew up
Oh,
without blood in wrestling and cage matches.
oh, I'm in the generation of wrestling fans. Please, no blood.
Well, back in y'all's day, y'all were just fucking with no rubbers, just shooting loads everywhere.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then because of people like you, we
And
got HIV.
yeah, and cutting each other's forehead with razor blades, just passing the razor blade on to the next person. Just
Yeah.
stick it in your bag in the bottom of that crummy old shitty old bag. Let it get dirty for a week and hand it to your next guy. Say, here, cut with that one. It was a good one. It helped me. You take some aspirin, maybe you bleed, maybe you don't. Hey, why don't you cut your arm like Dusty used to do? That was good.
I talked to Rick once, and Rick says he drank coffee. That was his way to get it going.
Okay, I guess caffeine does thin the blood out, right?
He said it would like make it pump faster and raise his heart
Oh yeah,
rate.
okay, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
So he was just like, no, my deal was I just drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee, and
yeah,
there you go.
yeah. I can see that, and I can see him doing that. And I can tell you this: I can remember Ric Flair backstage always drinking coffee, always with a
Ready
cup
to
of coffee.
bleed, baby.
And there you go. Hmm. Well, things have changed.
I saw today he had to cancel an appearance. I guess he's going to be going to Mongo's funeral. No surprise. He was one of his biggest supporters. So
Right? Yeah.
I'm sure Rick will make those dates up. I know he's got a contract with Fitterman for this, and obviously he'd like to
Mhm.
make his dates, but
Yeah.
I don't have any doubt he'll be there for Mongo.
Yeah. And I can see that. I understand that. Uh,
Yambag Jones wants to know, what do you think the over under on the times Rick has bladed in his career?
oh my God,
2,000?
every bit. I mean, it might be more than that if you think about the heyday, right? When they worked every day. How many times a year did Rick say was the most he ever worked? You ever
According
say
to
it?
Cage Match, and this isn't complete, obviously,
Right.
but according to Cage Match, he had 5,024 matches.
Okay.
So I felt like bleeding in 40% of them was fair. You think it's more?
Yeah, I do.
Wow. So
No,
what would your guess be?
I,
If it really is 5,000 matches?
yeah, I would 3,000. I think.
Okay.
And the reason is because I still think throughout his illustrious career, most of the matches he had were the old school house shows. Because if you think about it, TVs, pay per views, 4 a year, 5 a year, uh, can't bleed on TV type thing. Most of the blood came down, and in the heyday of the Crockett's, they worked every day of the week, twice on Saturdays, twice on Sundays. Didn't have Christmas off, didn't have Thanksgiving off, didn't have New Year's off, because those were the big days where you drew crowds. And I'm sure he didn't bleed in every house show. I'm sure in those spot shows where you have like 1,500 show up, he wouldn't bleed for that. But you go to the Greensboro, I'm really talking old type territory shit now. You go to the Greensboro Coliseum, you go to Norfolk, you go to Richmond, you go to Roanoke, the big cities, you bled. And there were a lot of big cities in the Crockett, what they consider big cities in the Crockett territory. And I mentioned Virginia. I didn't even mention that, Asheville, North Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina. Those were big towns. Columbia, South Carolina, uh, Myrtle Beach. Those were big towns. So, yeah, I think he bled a lot. Isn't it amazing? And I know there was staph infection. Guys had staph infection, but it's amazing that there wasn't more of that.
No doubt, dude. I was actually thinking about that not that long ago. Like, I'm not going to name any names, but we both know there's a handful of wrestlers who wound up with hepatitis. But I
Right,
really do feel like I could name those wrestlers on one hand.
right,
I'm
exactly.
like, how is that possible?
Right.
That we could both name hundreds of wrestlers who bladed over and over and over and over again, and there's 5 or less.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. It really is amazing.
Especially when you figure, just the amount of ass that you and everybody else in JCP was tearing through.
Mm.
I mean, Jim Cornette said famously, Rock and Roll Express had more sex on the way to the ring than he had in his lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but Ricky Morton drives around on bald tires. Rubber's not a priority for him. So I just feel like, you know,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
If an atomic bomb went off, you understand, in the
Yeah.
Tri-Cities, you understand,
Mm-hmm.
there'd be cockroaches and Ricky Morton. You understand? And if you see one of them big cockroaches with a blonde mullet, just
Yeah.
don't ask any questions. You understand?
You know, Ricky and Robert
Yes.
were at the show, and when we were in New Orleans, and Ricky, we were in catering, and Ricky said, "Hey, I want to tell you guys something that just happened to me." And everybody was looking at Ricky and listening intently, and I'm thinking, it's another one of those fucking Ricky Morton
Yep.
bad,
Sure.
terrible jokes. And of course it was. And they all went, "Oh God." I said, "I knew from the time he opened his mouth. This is Ricky Martin working a joke. He doesn't have any story. He's just got jokes. That's all." Then he hit you. When he does the punchline, he'll hit you.
Oh yeah, he's ready for it.
Yeah.
Darian Staley, 5 minutes ago,
Mhm.
says, "I'm 90% certain that below the neck, Tony is naturally hairless."
Yeah.
And I started to think to myself, man, what the fuck is going on with Darren Staley? What's going
He's
on with him? And then I saw his most recent question, Tony.
yeah.
His most recent question is, and this is just from 1 minute ago.
Yeah.
Do you want to read it out loud, Tony? Here it is. Tony, Silva will put it on the screen.
Go ahead, Dave. Does Tony masturbate often? Wow.
This is where we are with our show,
Now
Tony.
this is where Darren is. Okay, Darren needs some psychiatric help, and he needs it quickly.
Last week we were talking about pubes.
Yeah, I okay. As you can tell, wow, what a great power bomb off the turnbuckle. As you can tell, what a great freaking kick out too. Holy smokes! As you can tell, Darren Staley needs some intervention in his life. And Darren, we appreciate you being with us and being a part of Patreon, but we're not here to help you mentally. Okay, you need somebody else. Mhm. Watch his kick up by Cena. That was pretty cool.